It's time for Twig This Week at Google. We will watch live Gina Trapani launch her new enterprise, ThinkUp. We'll talk with Matthew Ingram about the FCC's net neutrality decision and find out all about Jeff Jarvis's bathroom habits. It's coming up next on Twig.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by Cashfly. CACHEFLY.com. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 232, recorded January 15th, 2014. Just lean forward. This Week in Google is brought to you by 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of more than 225,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/twig to receive a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. And by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website or online portfolio. For a free 2-week trial and 10% off, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code TWIG1. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show that covers Google and really anything else we darn well please, including the cloud, Facebook, Twitter, and more. Gina Trapani is here despite this being a red-letter day for her, a big day, and a day that she may at any moment be called upon to serve. And I mean serve like server. ThinkUp is up. Actually, it's now down because everybody's just gone there.
Because everyone just found out about it. Yeah. Because I announced it here on the show. Yeah, thank you. I'm very, very excited. It's been a long, particularly this past week has been very long days. So I'm very excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so exciting. That's Jeff Jarvis. He's a professor of journalism at City University of New York, also a regular. Not in Davos yet.
Next week.
All right.
Next week. And jeffjarvis.thinkup.com.
Yay. Or plus Jeff Jarvis or buzzmachine.com. That's right. We can now start using our ThinkUp URLs.
Yeah. ThinkUp URLs, yes.
Also here from Giga, Matthew Ingram. And by the way, Matthew, I owe you a great debt of gratitude.
You sure do.
You did a fabulous roll-up page of everything there you need to know about the FCC decision yesterday.
Oh, thanks.
Priceless. Is that something new? Because that's a great idea.
No, we do that periodically when there's a big story that's complicated and it's developing. So I enjoy them because I enjoy reading them. So I try and make them, as to pick out all the good stuff so you can just read one thing.
That's exactly what I did. And it's very useful for me because, of course, we have to talk about this thing. And, the initial media coverage, just for people who haven't read about this, a federal appeals court essentially, some say, overturned the notion of net neutrality by telling the FCC that it did not have jurisdiction in a case against Verizon. Verizon had sued saying exactly that, and the court said, you're right. Now, the FCC may appeal, but there are other interpretations of this. One interpretation is it's merely that the FCC attempted jurisdiction in a way that perhaps was inappropriate because in the decision, the judge who wrote the decision was pretty clear that net neutrality did need to be protected.
Am
I right, Matthew?
He said they basically did it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So they tried to treat the ISPs like common carriers without calling them common carriers.
Why, that's an interesting point because a common carrier, if they had said you are like broadband service providers are like telephone companies, the FCC regulates radio, television, telephone companies, among others. If you were a common carrier, then we could regulate the internet the same way. Why is the FCC reluctant to do that?
Well, it's not just the FCC. I think there's a lot of people who are reluctant to have it do that because if you recall, there was a big fuss when they were talking about maybe regulating the internet. People said, no, you shouldn't do that.
Right.
So we kind of, people kind of want them to so that we have net neutrality, but don't want them to screw it up. And so the risk is the FCC being what it is, it tries to help and manages to screw everything up.
In fact, I remember talking with John Perry Barlow, who is on the board of the EFF, one of its founding members. And even within the board of the Electronic Frontier Foundation, there's this debate over, well, does the government protect the internet, or is that the worst possible solution?
Right.
Right.
And I think, you know, even if you agree, a group that agrees that the open internet, unfettered net neutrality is something that needs protecting, who does it? Who makes that happen?
Well, the argument that Cory Doctorow makes is that we're not trying to regulate the internet. We're trying to not break the internet. That the internet has always been open in this way, and the phone companies are the ones who are trying to go to a new direction, and you're trying to stop them from doing that.
And that's a good point. And in fact, if you see the internet as a sort of evolution of, you know, phone lines and phone service, then that sort of common carrier principle should continue. So all the court said was you need to make that explicit.
Mike
What's
Masnick,
the downside of the court of the FCC seeing telcos as common carriers in the internet context?
So I actually, there was a fascinating Twitter discussion last night that Mark Andreessen was involved in that Ohm started. And I did I pulled together all of Mark Andreessen's tweets about it. And his point was that he very much wants an open internet and is very much in favor of net neutrality, but he's afraid that the investments that are required in new networking technology won't occur if carriers and ISPs are treated like common carriers, that they won't invest the money because they're not going to be able to get the return.
Mark Andreessen called that attempting to square the circle. You can't, you know, how do you encourage investment and preserve net neutrality?
Yeah, but the problem with that is, number one, they've invested so far. This is how we got the internet we have so far, is by investment. And net neutrality so far, they haven't had the balls to go against it, though AT&T is just starting to try. And second, a lot of these people are phone companies that are losing their entire phone business, and a lot of them are cable companies that are starting to lose their cable business. So having a decent internet service for consumers, there's no question there's market demand for that. Double charging on both ends of it, if you have a monopoly and you can get away with it, and if you're, phone companies, and that's the way you treat people as prisoners, yeah. So the real solution in the long run isn't regulation. The real solution in the long run has to be competition, and has to be consumers going to a decent choice. The problem is we don't have that competition. We don't have that choice.
There's in fact, the judge specifically mentioned that.
Yeah.
You know, he said, even though I'm making this ruling, the risk is that these companies will take advantage of the fact that there's very little choice.
So does the FCC appeal, or does the FCC rewrite its regulations? There's also some concern because Tom Wheeler, the chairman of the FCC, is a former cable company lobbyist. But it seems he's saying the right words, at least now, maybe not in the past, about net neutrality. What is the FCC's next step? They are going to appeal?
He hasn't said he's going to appeal.
They haven't said.
He has not. And in fact, Mike Masnick at Techdirt pointed out in his piece that even if it goes to the Supreme Court, there's no real indication that sort of in the law that the Supreme Court would find any other way than the appeals court did.
No, in fact, I think that's why the decision was written so narrowly. It's very clear that the FCC does not have the jurisdiction if you don't declare broadband providers common carriers. Right. And that's been the issue all along. Who has jurisdiction? And I think Mike's right that the Supreme Court. Now, Mike is worried because he thinks that the outcome is going to increase government regulation.
Yeah. And then that is the risk. I mean, Mark Andreessen mentioned that as well. If you look at virtually any other example, if you give a regulatory body like the FCC an inch, they will take a mile, and the risk is that they just wind up, cluttering everything up and slowing it down instead of making it better.
For years, it was a hypothetical discussion that the AT&T and Verizon and Sprint said, "Oh, we would never do that." It's not hypothetical. AT&T with this sponsored content proposal is doing exactly the wrong thing. They're saying sponsored data. They're saying if you're a company like, I don't know, Netflix, and you want to give us a little extra, we will make sure that it does not come out against the bandwidth caps that our customers have. But if you're a company like Twitch and you don't give us a little extra, well, I'm sorry, but every bit they download goes against their bandwidth caps. That is very clearly the kind of discrimination we don't want.
And unfortunately, it's also really attractive if you have huge
customers,
bills.
Like
yeah, customers are going to like it. But it implements this toll road mentality. Fred Wilson had a great post where he looked at, imagine a startup going looking for VC funding. They've got this great communications tool or this great feature, photo sharing or whatever. And the VC says, well, why would I subsidize you or fund you? Your competitor has paid money to the carriers, so they get preferential treatment. There's no upside.
Yep.
Yeah, customers, and we need to be educated, I think, frankly, that, this sounds like a good idea. Netflix won't cost you anything. YouTube won't cost you anything. But what it is fundamentally undemocratic because, and this is the power of the internet, is this democratizing force. And this is why you have to do this, because these I don't think there is a conflict between innovation on the internet and limiting what these companies can do. Because as you pointed out, Jeff, these companies are the incumbents protecting old business models.
Exactly.
And I think the risk is...
two questions. Go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, the risk is if we do get that model where certain things like YouTube or Netflix are given preferential treatment and you get a discount, you're not even going to know what you're missing because it won't be there. You literally won't realize what you haven't seen.
Yeah, and nobody would start something like Twit. You'd be nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to get to that question in a second. But before I get there, is there a chance that the FCC is going to declare them common carriers? Have you heard anybody speculate to that end? No, we won't appeal this decision. Instead, we'll do what the court says, and we'll go.
Seems like the right thing to do.
Wheeler seems to be hinting that he wants to do that. There was another commissioner but everybody's dancing around it. I just don't think they've, even though it's two small words, it would be quite a huge step. Tim Wu wrote something for the New Yorker saying that, effectively that's all they have to do. It's not that difficult, but it's going to have tremendous implications.
Second question. So we mobilized SOPA and PIPA. What's to mobilize here?
Well, there's going to be.
The Free Press is trying to do that with an online petition, and Freedom of the Press, who sound similar but are different organizations. But, they're trying to get a sort of groundswell going. I think it's a complicated issue for people to understand. And so it's hard to sort of rally behind.
And then third question, Leo, how does this affect you?
Well, right now it doesn't. This is all somewhat speculative, right?
Yes.
It presumes two things. One, that most viewers will start watching on mobile, because this is all about mobile right now. Although it could easily extend to, home internet service providers. There's no reason Comcast would watch AT&T's sponsored data and say, hey, that's not a bad idea. We ought to do that.
Right. And Verizon may have agreed with Google some time ago, but that was in proposed FCC regulations that are now thrown out anyway. So Verizon says, well, what, Google? Who's that?
Yeah.
And you could see Comcast saying, if there's this deal, you don't have a bandwidth cap, and if there isn't this deal, you do have a bandwidth cap.
So, it doesn't disadvantage us. It changes it not at all right now, because right now everybody's charged. Everything counts against your bandwidth cap. So it wouldn't change anything for us right now, but it would raise a barrier to entry to somebody coming in later, and it could affect us if we don't get the. And I do think, by the way, most viewing is going to go mobile. If all of a sudden we don't get the mobile viewing because people say, well, I don't see why I should watch Twit because it's going to cost me when Netflix and YouTube do not.
Have you seen a spike in mobile viewing? Is it relative to the kind of spike we're seeing in general internet usage at Twit?
That's a good question. I haven't looked at those numbers. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that people stream. I don't know. I'm sure that most of your listeners download the MP3s and listen.
That's changing rapidly.
That is changing, I imagine. Yeah.
So more streaming.
A lot more streaming.
Some more streaming.
Streaming's coming on strong. And I think everybody agrees streaming's the future for content.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I just saw a number for somebody big like NBC or something like that flash by on Twitter, and mobile was a huge proportion.
I have
much
to think
larger
it's
than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I have to think it's going to be. And well, all computing's moving to mobile. All computing's moving to tablets and smartphones. That's computing, not just content consumption. But that's computing. So you know, I mean, people watch us on their Roku boxes, much to my surprise. But I just feel like mobile is the future, and you know, anything that makes I'm not so much worried about Twit. I hate to see anything that makes it less democratic. The power of the internet. The reason the internet has wrought such change and will continue to rewrite the rules and change everything is it's fundamentally democratic. That's so much more important, isn't it, than anything else? That's where, and there's plenty of money to be made. I mean, if there were rules made to protect Barnes & Noble against Amazon.com, that would be bad. We'd all agree on that.
Well, but that's exactly what happens in Europe, Leo, where in Germany you cannot discount books.
Right.
Not allowed to.
Yep.
I don't know whether they're allowed to give free shipping or not, but the bookstores are absolutely protected, and institutions protect institutions. They don't protect their disruptors.
Right. Well, anyway, I highly recommend if you want to, so it looks like you're continuing to keep this up to date, Matthew, which is cool.
Yeah, I've been trying to add stuff as much as I can.
So go to GigaOM and look at Matthew Ingram's article that is a continuing story, what you need to know about the court decision that just struck down net neutrality. And the only thing I'd quibble with is I don't know if it's clear that it struck down net neutrality. It just told the FCC that it could not do it this way.
Well,
it's certainly on hiatus. I mean,
it's on vacation. Net neutrality takes a vacation.
Yeah, the only government statement of net neutrality was the FCC's ruling, and that is now voided. Ergo, there is no protection for net neutrality.
I guess if you're a conspiracy theorist, you could say the FCC did, in fact, and I think this is what Ars Technica said, did in fact screw it up intentionally. Maybe
really?
not, you know, that like, well, we don't want to, because, I mean, everybody saw this coming.
They did, yeah.
Yes.
This is not a surprise.
Not a surprise.
And the FCC surely has intelligent lawyers who would know that the court's going to say, well, you can't do it this way.
Yeah, and I know Tim Wu, who wrote, he's the law professor who coined the term net neutrality. He wrote quite a sort of rant about the FCC and how they deliberately, instead of using their big guns, they used the little guns or the pea shooter. And it makes you wonder why. Why was it just arrogance, or were they hoping it would somehow they could slide it through, or or was it just? It does seem strange.
I feel like Tim has a little bit of a bias here because his book, The Master Switch, the premise of it was, like every other innovative new technology, it's only free for a little while, then the big guys come in. He expects this to happen.
Right. Although to be fair, his view is that it goes in cycles.
Right.
So it's open, then it closes because large players want to make money. They influence policy. Then eventually it gets disrupted and it becomes more open, and then closed and then open.
All right. He starts off in the beginning of we've tried to get him on, by the way, and he now consults for somebody, I can't remember who, that makes it impossible for him to do interviews.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He did one with the Washington Post.
Yeah, maybe that's changed. I should inquire again, because I think he's very smart. He teaches at Columbia. He's very smart.
Yep.
Yeah, extremely smart. He actually worked, or I think he worked at Google or consulted with Google for a while, way back. I actually was on a TV program with him up here in Toronto, and we were talking about, I think the Master Switch had just come out, and he was looking at sort of the, from the earliest days of the net and phones, the cycle that tends to come closed open.
I hate to. I mean, yeah, it's a good observation, and he uses the radio, TV, newspapers, and long distance. He starts with long distance service, telephone service, and says, this all started open and freewheeling and innovative, and then the money came in and everything shut down. Yep. But I think you'd also make the case the internet is not like anything else we've ever seen before.
Yes.
In many, many ways. I mean, it's truly global, for one thing.
Agreed. Although, the telegraph was global.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
it didn't have animated GIFs, though.
It did not have cats.
It didn't have cats. And you couldn't deploy balloons and get telegraphs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That's where they really messed out.
Yeah.
Balloon telegraphs.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we still have the changelog. We're going to get Gina to do that before she has to run off and save the servers at ThinkUp. And then I would like to talk about a little thing called Nest. But first, a word from 99designs.com, a great place to go if you need designer help. The world should be a more beautiful place, and if designers had their way, it would be. But so many of us who can program or do a lot of other things don't have that magical design sense. That's why you're going to want to go to 99designs.com, a community of 273,000 and growing all the time, designers who would love to create a design for you. It really is a great deal for both us as design-challenged folk and designers. There are, right now, 2,299 open contests. $1.5 million paid out last month to these designers, $66 million in payouts to date. If you need a new logo, a mobile app, a business card, we've had T-shirts done at 99 Designs that are great. Any other kind of graphic design, there's a designer waiting for you at 99designs.com. Landing pages, for instance. You know, if you're a business and your Facebook site looks like it was designed by your 14-year-old, maybe you want to try 99designs.com. Landing page design starts at $2.99. Your next graphic project as low as $199. And if you visit 99designs.com/twig, you'll get a $99 power pack of savings free. You get more designer time and attention. They'll bold, highlight, and feature your project in the 99 Designs marketplace. Next can give you twice as many designs. 99designs.com for web design, for logo design, for any kind of design. Make your stuff look better. 99designs.com/twig for that $99 power pack. We thank them for their support of This Week in Google. Let's do the change log.
The Google change log.
And the changer-in-chief, Gina Trapani.
I'm actually going to ask for you guys' help with the changelog this week. So I'm less prepared than usual since I've been in launch mode.
A little busy, are we?
I'm going to give it a little shot. I have to say I'm honored that you took my website down, Leo. You're the first. It makes me happy that you were the first person to take down my app. That it feels like I leveled. That's achievement unlocked.
It's a rite of passage. And don't blame me. Blame the Twit Army, my friends.
It's back up. It's back
and
up.
it's running just fine now.
It is back up. It is back up. I have great people. But thank you for doing that. All right, the changelog.
Go ahead.
Chrome 32 launches with my favorite feature ever in a browser in a really long time, noisy tab indicators, a new Windows 8 look, and better malware blocking and supervised users. I just love this noisy tab indicator. Basically, it's just a little icon on your tab that shows you which one of your tabs is playing a video, streaming a sound, music, whatever, or using your webcam, or casting to your TV if you're using Chromecast. So really, really helpful. I've always got dozens of tabs open, and when you can't find the one that's playing that gosh darn music, it's kind of a pain. And that's Chrome 32. What else do we have here? Oh, chat.
Let me just, before you move on, mention, we talked a lot about the new UI, the new Chrome in Chrome 32 on Windows 8, and Paul Thurrott and Mary Jo Foley on our Windows Weekly Show were pissed off. They felt it was an anti-competitive move, that Google was trying to, get people to embrace the Chrome UI because they want everybody to do Chrome OS. I disagreed strongly. I don't think Google's out to screw. I think Google wants people to use Chrome on Windows. But a lot of people are saying that the scroll bar is too narrow. The UI is not native.
So it's not native Windows.
It's not native.
UI.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a bold move. That's like you're going to use our UI. We see that all the time.
They say, well, in fact, Microsoft does it all the time. They did it with Windows Internet Explorer 11. So it's not unusual. In fact, that's what the Chromium team pointed out. They said, we have a new graphic engine. We wanted to unify the controls across the board, not just Chrome OS and Mac OS and Windows, but everywhere. And because of this new engine. And they say, hey, Microsoft does it all the time. But I have to say, it's always a mistake to go non-native. Don't you think, Gina, as a programmer?
To not go native?
Yeah, you got to use native controls.
Yeah, I mean, it just, it feels better. It's a jarring experience, I think, for the user when an app doesn't feel native.
Look at Microsoft's Android apps, says Jimbo Logic in the chat room.
Good point.
I mean, they do it to Android. I
can't say that I'm running any,
Do you think Google and Microsoft hate each other so much that Google would do this just to piss off Microsoft? I don't think so.
Yes.
You do. Matthew Ingram says yes.
Oh,
Paul
yes,
and Mary Jo thought I was a naive innocent to think otherwise.
I don't see why they wouldn't. Why not?
They do not like each other. I think that's obvious.
Flex your muscles.
I think Google is just standardizing on a particular look and feel across all their projects, a la Larry, and this is one manifestation of that.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing hamburger menus, we're seeing some particular UI bits, you know, everywhere, and it just kind of went to Windows. I actually haven't seen it on Windows, so I don't know how sort of jarring it is.
It looks just like the Chromebook.
Right, looks just like the Chromebook. Yeah, I see it. There's a screenshot here on the next web.
I will say the noisy tab is one of those little things. Like it's not that big a deal, but it is so annoying. Like it is just when you have 55 tabs open and something starts autoplaying, which of course all websites do, even though it's a big middle finger to your users. It's just so annoying to be able to see that happening. So I bow down to Google for that.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's a really nice thing, and there are plenty of extensions that do this kind of thing, but it's a nice implementation. And hey, it's a nice way to promote or show off the Chromecast as well. That they got in the little cast icon as well.
Right.
What else we got? YouTube launches a new comments management tool. And Chad, I was going to ask you a little bit about this. I haven't had a chance to take a look. It's a new tool for managing comments on its site. It gives video creators a central inbox for all the comments that their videos receive.
Yeah, and so what happened was when they did the big switch to Google Plus, they removed a way for you to look at one big inbox and see all your comments. And so now this is my comments. I have a way to just go to a central location.
Can you moderate?
Yeah, and so I could thumbs up, trash it, flag it, and so I don't have to go into every individual place to find my most recent comments.
That's nice because anybody produces a lot of content on YouTube is going to have all sorts of comment threads.
Yeah, and as you can see, it tells you which video. It's been I just uploaded this one today. This one's been out for a while now, and so it's good to have it all in one location so that I don't have to jump from video to video to check out all my comments. So much needed, and very happy that we have it now.
Yay.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Google Plus is now showing up in your Gmail. This is a new feature that allows anyone on Google Plus to email you and vice versa.
Not anyone, not just anyone in your circles, anyone.
Anyone.
Well, unless you said it otherwise.
Yeah.
Unless you opt out. So by default,
no, you can set it. You can set it. Right.
Yeah. By default, it's turned on, and you can opt out. But, defaults are a powerful thing. So Leo, I want to hear, you don't sound too happy about this.
I don't read much email anyway, so it could be bad. I don't know.
Oh, is that why you never respond?
Leo, how many circles are you in?
Almost 500,000. Fewer than these guys. So supposedly if you're in more than, 10 or 20,000, you get the special treatment.
You get some special treatment, yeah.
So
I tried to look at the opt-outs and I wasn't there.
So
you have to approve it the first time though, right?
My default, and I haven't ever looked at this before, says that only people in my circles can email me.
Okay.
And you get that from where?
It's in your settings of Gmail.
Yeah, it's in your.
Well, wait a minute, that's via your Google Plus profile. That's different.
Oh.
Or is it?
No,
that's what it says on this article.
It's
via.
Of course, this is the problem too. My main Gmail is not my Google Plus because my main Gmail is apps.
So in mine by default, and I didn't change it. Currently, it says circles, so I must be in that vaunted celebrity.
Yeah, mine did
category.
too.
Yeah,
mine did too.
Anybody with more than a few thousand followers. But the other choices are and this is the default. Anyone on Google Plus.
I actually changed it to anyone, which maybe makes me a mental case. But
it makes you a Mr. Wide Open Matthew Ingram.
I mean, look, email addresses are not that difficult to find.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting debate about are email addresses really private? Like, is somebody sending you an email? I mean, I guess people feel differently about this.
And Gina, isn't it true that no one gets your email. I mean, oh no, another privacy fear. As I understand, nobody gets your email address.
They don't need your email.
They don't need your email. They just send you a message.
They just route through Google, routes through Google+.
So I don't think it matters that much that they don't get your email. They can still email you until you turn it off.
And you can say, don't let this person do this again.
You can block them.
If they send you one.
Oh, on a per individual basis, you can do. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Right. So, Jeff's point is a good one. You could argue that it's actually a privacy setting. It's making your email address more private.
Yeah, because I could set it to no one, unlike Matthew Ingram. And then nobody can email me via my Google Plus profile.
Or, but somebody can communicate with you without you giving them your email address.
Right.
And then you can block them, right? You can't, once somebody has your email address, you really can't block them.
Oh, that's a good point.
Whatever. I mean,
I see what you're saying. I see.
Yeah. So I actually like that feature. So people will email me using the Google Plus connection. And then I decide, do I want to give them my real email address? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a filter in a way. Do you want to extend that connection, or do you want to just keep it at you can Google Plus me and that's it?
Right.
It's like a dating thing. It's like
the levels,
do I let you have
right?
coffee?
Like, how far do you want to go? Second base?
Yeah.
Right. Like you can have my Twitter handle, right? If I like you, you can have my email, right? If I really like you, you can have my phone number, text me, and then if I'm in love with you, you can call me.
Yeah. Or you can have like a push button restraining order, which is great.
Click here for my DNA sample. That's like a membership rewards program.
Another Google Plus related change to Gmail is that you can now star your contacts in Gmail, much like you can star messages. But when you star contacts in your contacts, if you're using Android, your starred contacts sync with your Android favorites. So it shows up that those people show up in your favorites on Android. So starring a contact on the desktop will star that same person in your Android contacts. So you can kind of keep that in sync and have your favorite people.
Yay.
Not a huge deal, but I do like that favorites feature. I do use it.
I do too. And there's a lot of nice tie-ins. For instance, my Motorola X Assist program says nobody can ring you during Do Not Disturb hours unless they're in your favorites. So managing your favorites is very handy. So that way people I want to call me can.
Right. And finally, thank you for this one, Jeff. You can find Creative Commons images in Google Image Search a little bit easier now. You used to have to open up the advanced search page to restrict the results, but now you can click on the Search Tools button to the right. If you search for an image, click on Search Tools, and then you can filter by usage rights. So labeled for reuse, labeled for commercial use, labeled for reuse and modification.
I use this all the time.
Oh, that's great.
For anyone who publishes and writes and needs art for their work, this is huge.
All of our art is Creative Commons, and so I've used other search engines that do that, but it's so much easier to just use Google Images.
Yay.
Yeah.
You could always do it before. You just had to go to the advanced search. Now you don't have to. Right.
It's just easier. Which I really like because it encourages people to be aware of credit, not just pulling photos, and they can do it right there on the front page without having to know all the tricks.
I think Matt
That's all I
said
got.
that was Larry Lessig's idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Well, he's
makes a lot of sense.
the creator of Creative Commons, so that makes sense. Yeah.
That's
that, my friends, is the Google changelog. You didn't need our help at all, you sandbagger, you.
Thanks for the assist.
Let's check out real quickly. I'm going to go to, so it's Leo, so I got an email as one of the sponsors, because you originally asked people to go out.
Yeah, we did a crowdfunding campaign, right? So you're one of our early backers.
So I got an email saying, grab your name, which I did, leolaporte.thinkup.com. And you've been importing tweets.
Pulling data,
32 tweets so far. I don't know what the total number of tweets is. So is that
3,200.
That's the API. Is rate limited by the API?
It is. That's as far as the API will page back.
Okay.
But now that you have ThinkUp running, it's running 24/7. For any new tweet or mention or link or anything a favorite that you do from here on in, ThinkUp will capture.
Awesome. And and in those, I spent 13 hours doing those tweets. But I have a total. I'm just looking on Twitter of 6,861 tweets. Twitter just does not allow you to go any farther than 3,200.
Right, that's right. But we're gonna have a feature where you can import. You can do the takeout. You can export your tweets and then import them to ThinkUp, so you'll be able to fill in your archives.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I'd like to do that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And then you get lots of insights. So this is just the front page. It tells me that I'm on 40 lists and that people think I am a techie, tech people, twit, an artist, producer, actor. It shows you on this day, my most popular tweet on this day last year. And this is great stuff. I love this.
It's just the beginning. You've only got a few insights here, but it's just the beginning. It'll show you a lot of cool information, like as the system gets your data and as you participate on the network, and you'll also be able to connect to your Facebook account once we get you logged in. You'll be able to connect Facebook and see it as well.
Hey.
But if you look at Jeff I think has a lot more insights, and I think Matthew does too.
Why do they have more than me?
Well, it depends on what kind of activity there is. Like it looks like Jeff.
Look at
he
Jeff.
Tweets a lot. Yeah, he retweets.
Did you
a lot
see that Smriti Daniel followed Jeff Jarvis? Wow. One person in New York follows you, Wendy Kaufman. This is cool. Yeah, you got a lot more insights. So because he's a more active tweeter.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what. Yeah, like so Wendy, it looks like it's from New York, so it'll match like local followers when people local will follow you. And if you retweet a lot, if you favorited things in years past, it will surface that
See,
stuff.
I never favorite anything, so.
Yeah, so it depends on how you use the network.
I favorited them for different purpose. I favorited the people who said nice things about my book so we could quote it.
Look, 81,000 people saw Matthew Ingram's tweet thanks to Jeff Jarvis.
Yeah, because Jeff retweets a lot.
You're welcome, Matthew. You can't say thank you, huh?
Thank you.
Wow.
You should charge a cent per
I'll
retweet.
do it.
And what was that you were showing, Chad? You have it too, I guess, huh? Here's what OMG Chad favorited on this day.
She was talking about favoriting, so I favorited this last in the years past.
Seems like I should tweet, favorite, retweet, do more stuff.
Yeah, this is.
You should.
Yeah, you definitely get more insights and you get more sort of positive feedback the more you sort of promote other people's stuff and favorite their stuff. And like I said, this is just the beginning. We've got a ton more insights coming out, and it's kind of like they're kind of like insights show up over time. Like they're not all here, but as you use the system and as the system evolves, they'll show up. So it's going to be fun.
What's the basis of it's nice to be nice?
Yeah, at the bottom, that sounds like a Gina-ism, doesn't it?
It's funny. It was an Anil-ism making fun of Gina. Not making fun of me, but it was one of our really early mock-ups. Anil dropped it at the footer, and I loved it because, we always joke about how, I'm the nice. Like people associate nice with me.
Yes.
So Anil said, it's nice to be nice, and he dropped in the footer, and we just always kept it. So,
That's your motto.
Sort of a little inner joke. And the point of the app is to be sort of positive and show you kind of the good parts of the network, the things, pat you on the back for the things you're doing well, suggest things that could be better. I mean, the whole idea is to sort of make your interactions on these networks like as meaningful as possible, and to kind of, like we have superpowers with social networks, and ThinkUp's goal is to kind of show you how to use the powers for good. So it sort of jives with our mission.
And Matthew, what are you using as your ThinkUp handle? Matthew Ingram or?
It's Matthew I.
Matthew I. I tried that.
One T, one I.
It's one T.
Oh, that's why.
Sorry about that.
Is that your mother?
It's
we
your
should
parents
blame?
who should apologize.
See, Matthew gets retweeted a lot.
Look at all this. Wow. Retweet. This is a new 7-day record for you, Matthew. 17 people retweeted you. 3 retweeted this one. 4. I can play that game. I can say stuff people will retweet.
It's interesting to see the ones that, because it's not always the ones I thought. Yeah. When I was using the ThinkUp plugin for WordPress, I would just go and check now and then, and some things would get retweeted that I didn't even realize. Do you know what I mean? It's hard. It's just interesting to see what people choose and what they don't.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm learning from this, actually. This is teaching me what I need to do to get more retweets.
Do not say please retweet at the end of your tweet.
That's a bad
Please
one.
RT. No, please RT.
No, please RT.
That's like.
Oh, that would be a really good insight. Like, hey, stop begging for retweets.
Yeah, just don't do it. Just don't do it.
We have a me tweet insight. So if you retweet tweets that mention yourself, we think of has something to say about that. Yeah, we really wrestled with the copy on that one because we were like, well, we don't want to scold people, but we do want to bring it up.
This is good.
So
how can people get this?
It's a start. Well, right now we're only open in limited preview to our crowdfunding backers. We're going to be, we're not accepting new signups for another couple weeks because we're just going to look at this data and improve it and listen to our sort of early backers. We wanted to give all our early backers kind of first dibs on, checking out the data and giving us feedback. So you should go to thinkup.com right now if you're interested in getting one of these yourself, and just drop your name onto our mailing list, and we will let you know when it's open to the public.
Yay.
Congratulations. And thank you to all of you for being so supportive and for backing the campaign. And
thank you for bringing us to I've been dying for this.
It's great. It's great.
I'm going to be I'll be emailing each one of you asking you what you think about your stream and what else you'd like to see in your stream, now that you can kind of get an idea of what kind of analytics we can do.
Now, when I signed in, it said I'm not really signing in yet because it just says you reserved your name.
Yeah.
Are there other when I sign in, are there other functions and things that we don't see on this page?
Yeah, when you sign in, you'll be able to connect another account. So if you're a pro user, you'll be able to connect up to 10 accounts. Or if you're just a member, you can connect a Facebook account. So you'll be able to see Facebook and Twitter insights in the same stream. And we have, not yet, but we have an Instagram plugin, a YouTube plugin, Bitly plugin, Google Maps plugin, that they're all going to launch as well. So you'll be able to see those, and you'll be able to add your Instagram account, for example, later on. So you'll just be able to manage your account when you're logged in, and eventually, you'll be able to set your stream to private if you'd like as well. So little just administrative functions once you're able to log in.
One of the features I really liked was seeing your followers or people you follow. Based on, are they noisy? Are they, are they sort of communicators? It's
Yes.
interesting to see, those, especially if you're trying to filter out people, which I'm trying to do now because I'm following way too many.
That's right. You know what, Matthew? You're right. We used to have that in the old dashboard, and I don't think that we've converted that over to an insight.
Oh, okay.
But that's a really good idea. I like that one a lot. No, it's true. Like, show me my chattiest followers, or show me my most quiet. Yep. I like that a lot.
Oh, it might make me use Twitter more. You're good for Twitter. That's what this is good for.
Facebook or Twitter. What's your social network? Google Plus. We also have a Google Plus plugin. We haven't gone live without the hosted version, but we will. Really, wherever the goal is to give you these kind of insights wherever you are into a single stream. So
now, is it hard to do with Google Plus because of the limited API?
It is. The Google Plus's API is pretty limited. It's read only, but we get posts and we get comments, so we can tell a lot about the conversations that you're having and the connections that you have just based on your posts and comments. So
I mean, you don't care about write access. You're only reading anyway, right?
We're only reading. Yeah, ThinkUp doesn't post on your behalf in any way. We don't ask for write privileges. All it does is observe for now.
It's the NSA.
It's very much it's very much not a Twitter client. We made it we are not.
I think
a
that's
Twitter
smart.
Client. Yeah.
Twitter's pretty much sent a signal they don't want you to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I do want to talk about that Nest acquisition. There's lots more to talk about too. We could go on for hours, but I promise we won't, because we got to let Gina go in about half an hour so she can go send out that email to all of you who supported ThinkUp in the crowdsourcing crowdfunding campaign. Yeah. Gina Trapani here from ThinkUp.com, Matthew Ingram from GigaOhm, from BuzzMachine.com, Jeff Jarvis. This is This Week in Google. Our show today brought to you by our friends at Squarespace.com, the place to make your website. Never goes down, Gina. Never goes down. Just think about you actually have appreciation of how hard that is to do.
Oh, yes.
Imagine if you weren't just hosting ThinkUp, but you were hosting hundreds of thousands of websites, any one of which could go viral at any time. That's a truly amazing thing. And I think you have to really credit the Squarespace folks for making that a fundamental kind of tenet of what they're doing. We want to be reliable, dependable web hosting. And then on top of that, the best content management system you can get anywhere. You'll start with 20 beautiful designer templates. That maybe you say, well, that's not enough. But believe me, it's plenty, because every one of them can be highly customized. In fact, all you have to do is pick a template. I'm looking at Forte here, and then look at the different ways people have used it. One thing you'll notice about Squarespace sites, they tend to be very visual. A lot of photographers, artists, designers use Squarespace because, it's a really good example. You may be a great photographer, but web design is a different discipline. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a place where you could put your website where you could use your innate aesthetic abilities, but you didn't have to know CSS or JavaScript? That's Squarespace. Drag and drop, point and click. You could take that template, make it your own, make it reflect your sense, your style, who you are. If you are a programmer, they got a great developer platform, including a color-coded syntax editor and for JavaScript and CSS and all of that stuff. So really, the sky's the limit with Squarespace. You can add social media via plugins. You can import into your Squarespace blog from almost all the existing blogs. That's a nice feature. And export, too, so you're never trapped, of course, at Squarespace. What I'd like you to do is visit squarespace.com, click the Get Started button. You're now going to have 2 weeks. You don't have to give them a credit card or anything. Just 2 weeks to create a site, import your data. You can try each of the 20 templates if you want because, of course, as with any good site design, content and design are completely separate. It's kind of like CSS Zen Garden. You can press a button and all of a sudden everything looks different, but the content remains. You also, with Squarespace, have a very good price if you decide to buy as little as $8 a month when you subscribe to the annual plan. And that annual plan will include, incidentally, your own domain name registered for free and all hooked up for you. For $16 a month with the annual plan, you'll get unlimited everything, including bandwidth. I don't know of anybody that could do this. No bandwidth bill ever. You could be the Justin Bieber Egged My House site and get all the traffic in the world, and you're never going to see a bandwidth bill. You want to sell? They've got e-commerce too. Fully integrated, no transaction fees, unlimited physical, digital, and service products, unlimited pages, storage, bandwidth, of course, inventory tracking built in. So are the tax, shipping calculations, the Google, the coupon controls, of course, full SEO on all Squarespace sites. Boy, what a great price. $24 for the commerce site. I want you to try it today. You don't need a credit card. You don't even need an offer code to start for 2 weeks free. But if you decide to buy, please do use the offer code TWIG1 and you're going to get 10% off on your new site because you mentioned us. TWIG1. And don't forget to try the new Squarespace Metric app. They have 2 apps. They have a blogging app that lets you post content, moderate comments. And they also now have this Metric app that allows you to check stats, page views, unique visitors, social media followers. So you could run an entire Squarespace site from a mobile device. It's blogging, portfolio, sales on the run. Always mobile responsive design too. Squarespace.com. Please use the offer code TWIG1 if you decide to buy. Big, big story. This is another one where, Matthew, you could have done your roll-up of all the different opinions. Google spends $3.2 billion, 5.8% of its total cash position, for Tony Fadell's Nest, a company that makes 2 things, a very pretty, very expensive thermostat and a very pretty, very expensive smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector. Why?
Because the connected home is the future.
Signals.
Right.
Signals. Google is in the signal business, and this is a signal to serve you better. Oh, gosh, Leo,
is it worth $3.2 billion?
Well, as a nephew to Apple,
price.
it's a nice, fun one.
That's a lot of money, dude.
A lot.
Now, I understand why. I understand why Tony and Matt did it because
dude. What do you call people, dude?
Dude,
you're too old. You're over dude age, dude.
Not in California.
No, in
Too
fact,
old for the dude.
in fact, it's going to be us baby boomers who are going to continue to say man, dude, far out, well into our 90s. Far out, man.
Person saying far out is a sad thing.
I'm growing a ponytail. Get over it, dude. Okay, my friend.
Sorry.
$3.2 billion is not a lot to Google. But it is a lot.
It is. I beg your differ.
But it's a lot for Nest.
It's a lot for Google even. If you're talking 5.8% of their cash position.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Okay.
But they'll have that much like by the end of the week, right? Won't they? I don't know. I mean, if they produce like $40 billion in cash, like
I don't know. I just when you talk about it in percentage, it's non-trivial.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
and
I've got
it
to
is a lot
believe
of money
there's
for a
future
young-
developments and there's patents and there's talent.
I think
And
part of it is
easy entry
the
level.
design. They picked up a whole team of really leading Apple designers, right? I mean,
Yeah, this is nothing that they have. I mean, they
Designed
do.
the iPad.
Google does some hardware, but
But they're not that
Let's-
good at it.
they're not that good at it.
Let's be
Personal heart.
let's be honest, right? Google promised Android at Home 2 Google I/Os ago, and they never shipped.
Right.
Nest shipped
point.
Android at Home, so
Right.
Google wanted them. Period. Like they couldn't do it, and Nest did. So it worked. That was Android at Home was the first thing I thought of when I heard about this news. And the other thing I thought of was my good friend Paul Ford wrote a piece on his website in 2002. I don't know if you guys have seen this piece. It's called Robot Exclusion Protocol. You should Google it. It's really funny. It's really good. It was 2002, so it was a long time ago, 12 years ago, and it's about how Google. It's just kind of a short story about how Google sent these little bots. I imagine them to be kind of Roomba-ish into his apartment to index all his space. And he has this conversation with this little Google bot about indexing his space. And so
Hi, I'm from Google. I'm a Google bot. I will not kill you. I know what you are. I'm indexing your apartment. I don't want you here. Who let you in? I am Google. I find many good things. I find that pair of underwear with little dice printed all over them. And I watch the tape of you with the life-size Stallman puppet. These are good, unique things, many keywords, many links. My master will say, much good job, little robot. Wow.
I put the robot exclusion protocol on my door. That's my favorite part.
Didn't you see it?
I put robot.txt on my door, please.
You understand, Google person? I index many things, and if I am very good, I get to go to Bot Park and have more processors. And an oil job. Thank you, Google. Must come inside apartment and index. Must.
I know my rights. I'm giving you 10 seconds to leave.
Yes, I will leave. First, I index everything. Everything. I am Google.
I like it. And that was 2002.
He beats it to death with a folding chair.
we also have that German thing we showed once where Google Street View had Google Home View and they went into your home and took pictures. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really. First of all, I had a Nest. I installed the Nest. I got rid of the Nest. I have 2 Nests, and when we moved, I didn't install it because it kept turning on the heat at inopportune moments.
Really?
It's supposed to know.
It learns, right?
What the hell does it learn? Well, on Fridays at 3 p.m., Leo turned up the heat. I'm not apparently consistent enough for it to deduce anything, so it was randomly turning on the heat. And I'd come upstairs, it'd be 80 degrees, and I'd turn off the heat and say, "Bad Googlebot, bad Nest." It didn't. You know what? This was a solution to a problem that frankly didn't exist.
I don't know. I think that those. I mean, maybe not the Nest. I haven't used one, although I do know
trust
people
me,
who have
trust
them
me,
and
use
swear
it.
by them.
No, they don't. They think it's
they love it.
First of all, it requires a Wi-Fi connection.
True.
And does not work without Wi-Fi. Period. It checks the weather outside and says it's doing some. It's not. The problem is it's not smart enough. And
maybe that is the problem. Maybe it needs more controllability.
I personally think that it doesn't do as well as my thermostat that is stupid, that I say at 6 a.m. turn on, at 8 a.m. turn off, at 5 p.m. turn on, at 9 p.m. turn off. That's what it should do.
Right. Although I think the potential of the Nest is that if you do have regular habits and it learns, it can actually help you save money by reducing your heating requirements.
And I got an email every month from Nest. I personally think Nest is a really classic example of a brilliant marketing that people go, oh, this has got to be good. It's Wi-Fi enabled. It's got a color LED picture on the front, and it's smart. And I get an email every month telling me how much money I've saved. And none of this really is meaningful. It's just magical.
So maybe it's just not smart enough, like you said.
Yeah, the money saving thing is so this is interesting. I mean, you live in California, Leo. I don't know how regular your hours are. They seem to be pretty regular. I mean, is it possible that it's I don't know. I haven't tried it either.
Here's the
I've heard
problem.
A lot of people say
it can't be smart enough unless. So, okay, maybe if you're really rigid, then the Nest could learn. He comes home every night at 5 o'clock. But what if you don't? The Nest, there's nothing for the Nest to learn.
Wait. Okay, all right. So you tie the Nest to your Android device, and that really knows
but it doesn't
when
do
you're
that.
on the way home.
Yes.
But it could now.
It could be better.
It will.
Yeah.
It could be better. Yeah.
I mean, my friend Kevin has a thermostat he can control remotely. He was telling me a story about how he accidentally was showing off the app to someone, and he was thousands of miles away, and he turned the heat up to 150 or something, and his wife phoned him and said, why did why did you turn the heat up? We're roasting it here.
Right.
And he had forgotten to turn it down.
That's actually the only thing I found very useful in this is I could turn my thermostat up and down when I'm not there.
And that is useful, especially if you have pets or something. Or
so maybe version 2. Well, actually, I had version 2. Maybe version 3 will get smarter.
It's honestly refreshing to hear a critique from someone who's used it and not liked it, because I feel like I've just heard everybody talk about how great it is. I've heard people, install, whatever the whole thing. So I'm glad. I mean, it's good to hear like that doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah,
I heard.
I've got one I haven't installed. I got it for my wife for Christmas, kind of, because it's something. But yeah.
Read the article in The Economist called "The Folly of Solutionism."
No, don't.
Yeah, Evgeny Morozov.
Oh, man. He puts his phone in a safe, for God's sake. Come on.
But he's not wrong that the notion that somehow technology is going to magically solve our problems because it's Wi-Fi enabled is not wrong. I mean, there is this.
Version 3,
who said it was?
Google Plus
what a
contacts.
red friggin' herring.
All right.
Oh,
who said it solved everything?
Well, a lot of people, they're buying. No. It's very germane. People are spending $250 for this thermostat. And because they spent $250 and they get a full color chart every month in the email, they've decided this is solving a problem that it isn't.
Well, if you have a family if you do, as Gina says, have a regular schedule, there are things that you can do that will make it that will move along and maybe be worth it for you or maybe not be worth it for you. I'm not sure either whether it's worth it for me. I don't get the one that I don't understand is the smoke alarm. Don't call me. Call the freaking fire department.
Well, I do like the smoke. Okay, here's where the smoke alarm might be, and I don't own it, so this might be all supposition. It does say where it is. So there's a fire in the living room, or more to the point, the battery is dead in the living room. Because it's
that alone
is worth it.
That is worth money.
By the way, they're being sued by both Honeywell and First Alert, who also make
$3 billion.
Yeah, also make talking smoke alarms.
I was going to say that I heard the next version, your Google Plus contacts will be able to turn the heat up or down in your house.
What I did see a lot of coverage worried about the privacy implications of the Nest acquisition, and I don't really see that.
Well, but just think a little bit further. Think about, you've got a thermostat, you've got your smoke alarm, you've got, who knows, window blinds that go up and down, you've got your toaster, your home phone, all of that stuff is connected to things, your fridge, your stove. There are privacy issues there, depending on where that information goes. And there were a lot of people concerned about Nest. Was it going to share the information with Google?
Right.
Was Google going to add that to the sort of, corpus of information that it has about you and all your browsing habits?
At this time, Nest, Tony said, and the Nest blog said, we're going to continue to honor our privacy agreement, which is that we will only use information from your Nest to make Nest a better product. We're not going to share it with third parties or Google.
Right, but at some point, you're going to voluntarily choose to share it because you're going to get value out of it, because when you connect it with your travel plans or something like that. So if it knows you're leaving town and it asks you, do you want me to turn your heat down for the week?
Right.
That kind of stuff could make it more valuable, and I think people will choose to connect them.
And I do know I've gone away on trips and forgotten to turn the heat down. I'm sure other people have.
And this is nice because even if you do, you can go online and turn it down later.
Yeah.
So Nest is promising that they're not going to share data with Google, but they're being acquired by Google, and Google expressly changed their privacy policy to say that products could share data between them. Can Nest? Did Motorola? I mean, that's interesting. That doesn't.
They said for
interesting.
now.
Google says they're going to run it like
Motorola,
separate unit,
as a separate unit like Motorola.
Yeah.
I'll say what I actually think now. Which is that you're absolutely right. That the connected home, that Google had that promise of the connected home, never delivered. If you're looking, every company, any big company and even small in this space is trying to figure out what's the next big thing. What is one area that really has not been well addressed is connected home. Everybody's talking about the Internet of Things, wearables, the removing of CPU power to the periphery. What better way to get into this than a company that has two successful products and a lot of smart people, including programmers? I think this is Google's announcement that the connected home is the next big thing.
And think about even just having those designers, whether they're worth $3 billion or not, I don't know, but it's one thing to come up with ideas like that, and there's probably people already coming up with humorous versions of what Google's version of that thermostat would look like, but people who can design those things in a way that makes them appealing, makes them simple, easy to use, that is not, that is a hard problem in many cases. And so to be able to have that, something Google hasn't typically been that good at.
We have a diversity of standards. It's a Tower of Babel. Nobody's figured this out. We've all seen the video of the guy using his Android phone to unlock the door and set everything. And that was somebody who spent hours and hours cobbling this together. What if Google could just offer this as a full solution? That'd be fabulous. So I think it's actually, I don't know if it's worth $3.2 billion, but I understand why.
I think you've got a point there, absolutely.
I understand why Google acquired them, and I think it's a very clear signal from Google. It's a shot across the bow. We're going to do this. Connected home is big.
And Microsoft has been talking about connected home for a while. I did a tour through Microsoft's Home of the Future, which is one of this kind of thing that they have set up, in Redmond, and it was amazing. And that was years ago, and I haven't seen anything actually come out of it.
Yeah. No, everybody knows it's the thing. Apple does too. Everybody knows it's the next big thing.
But it's all about shipping, right? Not very few people have shipped, and Nest
somebody's
shipped.
shipped.
So somebody shipped.
Those are the guys that shipped.
Listen, it may not be the next big thing. Right, the paperless office was the next big thing, and it still is. Maybe we get dribs and drabs and it stops.
I have now finally, for the first time, we used to make the joke, the paperless office. That'll be here as soon as you get the paperless bathroom.
Bathroom, yeah.
I have now a paperless bathroom.
Do I want to know this?
I
really want to know this.
The Japanese toilet.
Get out of here.
It works. So maybe it is time for the paperless office.
Oh, visuals. Oh,
I know. I shouldn't have bring it up. Okay, changing the subject. Changing the subject. Somebody in the chat room said, next thing, Google buys if this, then that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Totally, right? And then
connecting things.
Hue lights. And then...
Hue lights I don't get at all.
Oh, I love the Hue lights. Better than my Nest.
Hues are pretty cool.
Okay, so here's an application, Jeff. There's an application on the iPad and iPhone called Exoplanet that notifies you whenever another planet outside our solar system is discovered. You set it up. It has a little button that the hue light then changes to the color that it looks like on the surface of that planet, depending on the sun that the planet's in, the solar system.
Oh, man.
That's
off the nerdometer.
I don't know how anybody ever existed without that. Sorry, Matthew.
Yeah, no, that's
beyond. The geekiest thing I've ever heard.
Off the nerdometer.
Off the nerdometer. I like that a lot.
Nerdometer needle is spiking in the red now.
Hue lights are very nerdometer. Very, very big on the nerdometer.
I don't think I've heard of these. These are just smart lights?
Philips makes them. They're not that expensive.
A huge amount of money out of you. What's makes smart about them is that they rip you off for how much money?
$60 a bulb.
$60 a bulb.
Well, what? No, wait. They're LED lights. Now, admittedly, LEDs have gone down. You can get them for $10 now, and I'm sure these will go down at the same time. Philips is rapidly reducing the price of LEDs, but LEDs are expensive. But they're 10,000-hour bulbs. These are RGB LEDs, which means they can make any color at all from this light. So much so that you could take a picture with your smartphone, put it in the Hue app, click a part of that picture, and say, "Light bulb, you go to that color." It can literally...
Wait a second. All right, maybe you'll stop me for one thing. Can it stop me from looking pink?
Yes. I guarantee you.
Now we're talking.
So for instance, I have a picture of a moonlit night. I put it in my Hue thing, and I said, okay, bulbs, I want to be a moonlit night. And you feel like you're literally in the moonlit night.
Cool.
You can also use if this and that with it. You can set alarms. You can say, for instance, I want to slowly wake up. I want the bulbs to ramp up starting at 6 a.m. to give me a sunset or a sunrise in my bedroom. You can have daylight. You can have nightlight. Now, admittedly, this isn't that practical, and there are some strong negatives. For instance, as I discovered, if the power goes out and then comes back on, the Hue lights turn on full bright. And so in the middle of the night, I'm lying in bed, and suddenly, good morning, because I have a lot of them.
Take me to the light.
And
how many do you have?
9. And then I reach for my phone because I know what's happened. Oh, God damn it, the hue lights came on. And I'm starting to open the app, and Lisa just reaches over and flips the switch, which was actually the right thing to do.
I feel like you live in the kingdom of modern marvels,
future,
Leo,
yeah.
between your toilet and the lights. And
Living in the future.
Okay, the toilet. Now,
And
don't
next,
listen.
you
Cover
gotta
your
do
ears,
the
Jeff.
best.
You got to do it.
Cover your ears. So you get up, you go into the
Cover my eyes,
bathroom.
I'm
The
covering.
toilet goes zzz to welcome you.
Does it play a song or
No, this one does
now
not.
There's the creepy line. Bingo. We have found the creepy line.
And then the seat is warm. It's heated.
warm? Right.
Very nice. Never sit on
That's
a cold,
nice.
cold toilet seat again. And the water is heated.
See, wait, stop there. When I sit on a warm toilet seat, it's because somebody. It
No,
makes
I
me
know.
feel
This is-
somebody was on it
This
for
is
me.
this is a clean
Yeah.
warm.
Like a clean warm, a fresh and
Always
clean
a-
warm.
it's always
It's
a
a
fresh
sanitized
one.
warm.
Like there were 59
Always a
years
fresh
of visceral response. to
You
a
sit
warm
down, the fan goes on because it has a carbon filtered exhaust fan in the bowl so that everything is exhausted out. And then when you're done, there's front and back washers. They oscillate or pulse or any combination thereof. It's warm. You set the temperature. It
Is there a
bathes
blade,
you.
a wiper blade of any kind?
Yeah, no,
It's a
there's no.
bidet. It's a
there's no.
modern bidet.
It's a bidet.
It's a
There's no
bidet.
touch.
Okay.
No touch.
Okay.
And then it has a nice little blow dryer. So after you're done washing, you press the blow dryer, it goes, and it dries you off. And then you stand up, and then you walk out because the toilet automatically flushes, the seat automatically goes down, it sanitizes, and it's ready for the next person.
All right.
See, in
We're
Japan-
gonna have a Howard Stern moment here.
No.
Uh-oh.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Does it deal with dingleberries?
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
It's a very powerful thruster.
ooh.
It's I don't want to go too far.
Show title.
All right.
It's very pleasant.
So on the Howard
website's
Stern
down.
show,
Gotta go.
There's no brushes though, right?
No, there's no physical. So I realized what it is. I suddenly understood this after doing this. See, you have to use the Nest. You have to use these things to get it, right? And to get the pros and the cons. And one of the things, you can't just, and this is why reviewers sometimes miss the boat. They try it for a week. Okay, I get it. And they go on. You got to live with it. So what I realized is the Japanese don't care so much about butt cleanliness as they do about not touching anything. So what this really is a toilet where you could walk in like this and not touch anything.
Right.
That's the point of it.
well, because we've gotten to the point you don't touch in public restrooms. You no longer touch the water
Right.
faucet. You no longer touch the paper towel dispenser.
That's what this is.
Then of
this
course
is
you use your hand on the damn door. So.
right. So the idea, and I think that they're probably right, is it doesn't really matter how clean your butt is. It matters how clean your hands are.
Is the blower like the ones in the airport where it's like 8,000,
No, it's not a Dyson.
Yeah, the Dyson. Yeah.
Well, you know what I want? I want a Dyson in my shower. I just want to go zzzz around and be dry.
Yeah.
good
I
idea.
hate getting out
Oh, yeah.
and being cold while I dry off.
That's a good idea, actually.
They
Yeah.
have those actually.
Although,
do?
I don't think I could stand the sight of the flapping flesh, though. Like, it always freaks me out on my hands.
It does, yeah. I think it's going to come off or something. You see your
So,
flesh rippling.
Leo,
and you're
this
like, oh my
is so.
God.
This is yes or no. This is an acceptable level of cleanliness for you when you're
Yes.
done. Yeah. You
Yes,
feel
it's
this is-
acceptable. You don't go, God, I wish I'd. And of course,
Now,
you could-
while we're
you
on
could supplement
toilet
it.
technologies, two from the Howard Stern show. One is poo-pourri, which
I have
you-
poopery. It's
Oh, really?
do not buy
There's a whole
poopery.
side of you I didn't know about.
Okay, how about the
You
squatty
must.
potty?
This is sounding like I am so anally fixated. I am not.
What about the squatty
No,
potty?
and in
Leo?
Japan, you're just describing a normal toilet.
I am
This
normal
would
for
not be
Japan.
an
This is
unusual
a
description.
Japanese toilet. Yeah.
The squatty potty. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Squatty potty.
No, poopery doesn't work. So the whole theory is that it creates a barrier in the surface of the water. It's just fragrance, very, very, very strong fragrance, and it does not have any magical properties.
Robin Quivers says she carries it with her.
Yeah, because she smells like flowers everywhere she goes.
All right, so that's that one.
The theory of it sealing out
the odor.
That's, but it does. It's a very strong deodorant because it smells like whatever flavor you got, and it's very, very strong.
So there's the squatty potty, which Howard now swears by.
Oh, so this is an image I don't want.
Yes.
I reviewed it on
Howard Stern.
Gizwiz.
Same.
I reviewed the
Just-
Squatty Potty on Gizwiz.
Oh,
put-
Is that the one that where you're? So it's
Yes.
not that you're.
Your legs
It's not a. It's not a hole in the ground that you squat over.
No.
No. It
No,
raises your legs up so your angle is better.
It's a step stool for the can.
Which is supposed
When
to
you're
be
sitting.
medically better.
Which is ridiculous because all it's doing is bringing your knees to your chest to make your organs all fit together.
Yeah.
All you have to do, instead of spending $30 on a plastic
Stand on
thing,
the toilet seat.
no, lean forward.
Oh.
If you put your chest towards your knees, it works. Just lean forward. Don't buy a squatty potty.
What have we done
There
to
you go.
Twig? What have we done?
I'm really glad I,
hope
didn't
they're
miss
not
this
a sponsor.
episode.
I did say at the beginning of the show, it's that we talk about Google and whatever the hell else we want to talk about.
So we're covered.
People
We're talking
warned.
now about a cloud of poop odor.
Oh God, this show stinks.
Smart homes got to smell good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nest, thank you very
Okay.
much.
Yes.
maybe they'll do toilets.
Yeah. Is there any?
Well, they might well, yes.
Would you like a connected toilet?
Here's a story. The Moto G Play Edition is now out, $179, unlocked, Google Edition. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what a price.
Highly recommended.
There's so little. I mean, it's gonna be really little difference between the Play Edition and the regular.
No,
I mean,
in fact,
the regular version is unlocked and contract free.
I would prefer to get that one because the Moto Assist stuff, the few little things Motorola, the camera and the Moto Assist puts on there are good. I would get them.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
So
In
daughter
fact,
loves hers.
Motorola just announced a few new things that you can respond to text
yes,
messages.
I
that kind of
dictated
stuff
my
by voice.
first text this morning.
That
Receive
makes
and
me go
reply.
over the edge on wishing I had the Moto X.
That was so awesome.
Big deal.
So
it is.
it says the Moto X. So this Moto Assist knows you're driving. And by the way, they improved it now so it uses Bluetooth as well as GPS. So it really does know you're in the car and it tells you are. And when a phone call comes in, it will handle it as you tell it to, including sending a text out saying, I'm driving, I can't talk to you, which is great. If a text comes in, it will offer to read it to you. Hello, in this nice female voice. You have a text from Lisa. Would you like me to read it for you? And I said yes. And then it read the text, which was rather humorous in a robot voice. And then it says, would you like to respond? And I said yes. And then went bling, and I dictated a response. It said, okay, it reads the response back. Would you like me to send this? I said yes, and it worked. It was great.
Got it right.
Got it
Didn't
right?
get anything wrong.
Well, I've gotten good with dictating to Google now. You know, I mean, I pretty much know how to do it. So it's good.
Yeah, it's a handy feature.
I think the Moto, you know me, I change phones every 5 minutes. I've stayed with this one a few months. It's really good. I love the Moto.
Well, and it seems
Yeah,
like the X is really becoming sort of Google's, maybe Gina has thoughts about this, but it's becoming Google's kind of test platform for new stuff, things that can be sort of, baked into the thing and take advantage of all that kind of Google Now stuff and the phone and whatnot. So it's like the leading edge of what you'll see later in other products.
I don't know. Do you think it's crossing over?
Yeah. Like becoming the new Nexus, basically.
Well, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
kind
Google's
of,
been
yeah.
very careful to firewall Motorola off. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So how is that different? How is that different than voice actions? Doesn't Android have built in like a way to respond? It sounds like it's a little better than voice actions.
Yes.
The answering, that being smart about the fact that you're driving and answering and asking. Yeah. Yeah. It seems like it just took it an extra.
In other words, it
extra
doesn't
step.
do it if I'm just sitting here. It only does it when I'm driving, for instance.
Right. That's really smart.
Yeah.
That is really smart.
When I'm in a meeting, we talked about this before. When I'm in a meeting, it says it'll send out a text unless it's a favorite. There's a lot of, I think that these are all little Motorola things. Maybe they are trials
Maybe
for
they're
Google.
kind of, maybe they're trialing things. Maybe they're using Motorola as a test bed. That's actually not a bad. The Google Experience Launcher was that Moto X only? It was, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So 2. So we got a trend. 2 makes a trend.
Because they
need
have
one more.
been
One more for
taking
trend.
great pains at first to not scare off the OEMs like Samsung, HTC, LG
Right.
by saying, oh, no, they're not getting any special treatment. Look, they didn't get KitKat. Maybe that's not so much.
Moto had the hat with the
I love the
monkey
hat.
too, right? Yeah.
I love the hat.
That
That's
hat.
cool.
I'm telling you, Jeff, you blew it. Hey,
The little red hat. The red.
Maybe,
the red-
but I'm looking at my phone. I would have felt a little bad paying $600 for it when I can get it for $340.
well, that's true. I think
Yeah.
that was a little bit of a ripoff. Even even at the time, we thought this shouldn't be this expensive.
Yeah.
So how's your Nexus 7 working on Verizon now?
I should have been keeping going more letters in the new year to the FCC. I just got so tired of it.
They've been busy with other things.
So it's working on T-Mobile. Thank you very much. And I had a slight problem and tweeted, and somebody said, well, you should go to the president. And indeed, the CEO of T-Mobile responded to me, and I solved my slight problem like that. So T-Mobile, hats off.
Nice.
There's a rumor that from what's their name, that Verizon is finally going to add the Nexus 7 without branding to its sales lineup. But it's just a rumor. Don't know anything yet. We don't traffic in rumors here at Twig.
No, sorry.
It'll be called the Jarvis option.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have it on. I still have it on T-Mobile, and it's working fine. And I'm thinking now I'm going to use my Nexus 7 as my hotspot and get rid of my Verizon Wi-Fi. Does it make sense?
Is T-Mobile as good as Verizon where you are?
No, where I live, Verizon's a little bit better. But unless we have Superstorm Sandy, Sandy, we should be okay. It's in New York. Verizon is awful. T-Mobile's better.
T-Mobile's
like
great. I've got it here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great for me in Manhattan and Brooklyn.
And here's the real question. So I thought I went out and I bought. I don't think I can return them now. I bought $60 worth of refill cards and a SIM for my old phone. So when I go to Europe, I can take advantage of that wonderful new no roaming charge thing. Well, first mistake, wrong size SIM, idiot. Second mistake, while the nice lady who called me from T-Mobile, I said, by the way, while I got you, how does this thing work with the foreign? The no roaming charges only works if you have a post-billed regular account. And so a prepay doesn't work for that. So I did all this stuff for prepay, and the reason to do that was because anyway, it was my fault. I should have looked into it. But yeah, I'm keep on questioning. Do I go ahead and make the shift? And the only real difference is that we only have one landline now in home, which is for old farts. We still have one.
Wow.
And yeah, we still got one.
With like a cord and everything?
Yeah.
That goes to the thing?
Whoa.
Well, now that we have a whole house generator installed, we may not need that.
Very fancy.
That's why we have it. Because when
for
the
emergencies,
we have one too. Same reason.
Yep.
The power went out. No phone.
No phone for after 90 minutes or something. We have our Fios has a battery to keep the phone alive for a while, but that's that. So anyway, trying to use T-Mobile out. I know I'm in the boonies. I'm way in the boonies. So until they get up here, I may not. But at some point, just on the case of ethics, I should switch to T-Mobile.
I like T-Mobile, I have to say, but it really is specific to your region, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to lose Gina, so let us get from Gina Trapani a tip.
See,
You got
I'm
a tip?
betting she doesn't have one because she knew she'd be off by then.
Sign up for ThinkUp. That's
I
the
don't.
tip.
Sign up for
sorry.
ThinkUp because I'm busy.
Yes, that's my tip. That's my tip. Sign up for ThinkUp.
I'm very
I'm
busy.
going to go launch this app. Thank you for letting me talk to you guys about it and show it to you early. And I'm sorry I got to take off early, but I'll be back next week.
We love you, Gina, and even if it's just for 5 minutes, it's worth it. So thank you.
you.
And
Thank you.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
Nice.
much.
Gina.
Nice
Hey, I got my
job.
startup hoodie on. I'm going to go do this.
Congrats.
All right. Startup hoodie, baby.
Take care.
Oh, boy.
Bye.
Bye. How about you, Jeff? You got a number?
Yeah, I do. Let me cut up right here. So let's do this one. There was a story on Business Insider 5 days ago that a startup tried to hire a Google developer, and the developer allegedly blew off a $500,000 salary because he's already making $3 million at Google. So there's that. And then IT World came along and asked man or myth based on this $500,000, $3 million number, and went to Glassdoor and looked up the numbers for compensation, self-reported compensation. So it's just self-reported. You figure the guy who makes $3 million ain't going to Glassdoor and put it in there because he's not pissed.
He doesn't want anybody to know. Yeah.
So you guys think this is low. But average total compensation from Google software engineers is $144,000, ranging from $78K to $550K. plus cash bonus. That's total compensation. Average stock bonus ranges from 125 to 200K.
That's more what I'd expect, frankly.
Yeah, senior software engineers average 210, range from 80 to 630.
630. All right.
630K.
All right.
So that's still a lot. So, could there be a couple $3 million people at Google? Yeah, I think it's possible.
I think you get to 3 million by being poached and by saying to your supervisor, Facebook wants me. Okay, what is it going to take to keep you?
Yep.
Yeah, and then they give you 3 million, they're going to say, you're never going to have that conversation again because nobody's giving you that fella.
Right. And you have to be pretty darn good, right? But we've heard of that happening.
Yeah.
That's not unusual. Yeah.
3 million?
No, but we've heard. No, I'm not saying the number's not unusual. I'm saying we've heard of people being protected at Google. That Google coming to them and saying, "What is it going to take to keep you? We do not want to lose you." Of course, it could be 3 million in stock options too, right? It doesn't have. Is it cash?
You got also RSUs, which are the restricted stock units, which is as good as cash,
right.
In a sense. So I think it's possible. I don't think there's many of them.
Matthew, you got any tip or tool that you'd like to share with us?
I didn't have one prepared.
No need.
ThinkUp is great, though.
I'm with Gina. So this was actually in the news. And that's how I found out about it. There's a really cool website, codecombat.com, that is designed to teach mostly, I would say, high school kids, but anybody who is interested in learning how to program JavaScript. They say the largest CoffeeScript app out there, and they've just went open source. And I immediately signed up, and I told my son, who wants to learn how to program about it, it's very cool. You're playing a game. In this case, we're attacking ogres using JavaScript as the programming language. But they also have an arena where you can compete against other people. This is free. It is very cool. They just open sourced it, which makes it even more cool. I highly recommend it. A great little tutorial, a lot of fun. It's called codecombat.com. There are a lot of things out there now to teach kids to code. And I, remember the Hour of Code just a couple of weeks ago and so forth. And Code Academy is great. But this is really fun. This is, it's the kind of thing, you start off, I'm giving commands. I don't know how well you can read the text here. Move up, move down, move left, right, attack nearby enemy. And now I've got to get him out of the dead end. Okay. So let's continue on here. Rescue mission complete. You've learned how to control your troops, cast simple spells, moving and attacking using the play button. Let's continue with your training. Are you getting audio out of this? Because there's fun little audio and so forth. Yeah, you have spells.
Taste my blade.
Oh.
Needs ketchup.
So if you know somebody who's probably like 11 or 12 through 16 or 17, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Codecombat.com. Well, what a good time we've had today, talking about all sorts of subjects.
The potty show.
Matthew Ingram.
The connected toilet.
The connected toilet. Next. That's something I don't know if I want Google to know much about.
No.
Let's keep that to myself. And, of course, the fast listening audience.
You should be increasing the fiber.
Yeah.
Well, Dvorak always brings this up. He says, I said, nobody wants to know anything like that. And he says, the insurance companies do. He always brings that up, like the insurance companies are going to deny people insurance based on knowing all. But that's the only example he can give. I don't care. Let him raise my insurance. You need more fiber, Leo. They already ask you, do you smoke? They come and check your blood pressure and stuff like that. Matthew Ingram, thank you for being here. Again, everybody should go to gigaohm.com. And if you're interested in this FCC decision, that's a really good example of the great job Matthew's doing over there.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. The book, Public Parts, available everywhere, talks about living in public. Jeff Jarvis is an advocate. Lives it every single day, and he joins us every week. Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 2100 UTC for This Week in Google. He blogs at buzzmachine.com. And next week, will be joining us from Switzerland.
Yeah.
Does that still look good? You still think you can do that?
Yep. So I'm going to be on Hangouts next week.
That's okay.
I'm not carrying along a Mac.
That's
it's
okay.
For you.
You've got a working Pixel now.
I hope so.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Remember, if you can't watch live, we always do make on-demand audio and video of all of our shows available after the fact at our website, twit.tv. In this case, twit.tv/twig. And you can always subscribe wherever you get podcasts or netcasts, like, iTunes. That way you get it every week. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google.